Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namah. Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We saw Sri Ramakrishna telling that one does not lose consciousness by thinking of Him who is all spirit, all consciousness. Yam gets a doubt when Sri Ramakrishna says that one who sees flame for some time, sees flame everywhere, wherever his eyes go, because gets imprinted over the eyes. He gives the example of a jaundiced person who has got jaundice and he sees yellowness everywhere. Like that, a person who constantly thinks of God will see God everywhere, because his awareness is filled with God and it presents through all objects, unbroken. It must be unbroken, day and night, at all times. The thought of God is going on. He is attending to all duties of life. Every act of his is prompted by the divine, because he is filled with divine. Whatever is in the awareness reflects through his thoughts, feelings and actions. Now, when the consciousness or the awareness is filled partially with God and partially with the world, both get mixed up. To have unbroken thought of divine, he must separate his awareness and bodily existence. If awareness filled with God and body working in the world, the nature guides the body-mind to work, because there is the jiva's existence which is seeking something and is still clinging to life. Life has to continue. All things has to go on. That awareness is there, which is not a part of the real awareness which is filled with God. This is as if something reflecting somewhere in the awareness, some remote understanding that guides the whole thing. The active awareness is filled with divine. The passive awareness, which is somewhere lurking. The living is necessary, existence is necessary just to realize God. Just for existence, he is attending to all this. With all diligence, with all dedication, he is attending to all duties of his life. Because what he is doing is a part of sadhana. When awareness is filled with divine, intense seeking of God is there, then all activities, thoughts and feelings get converted into sadhana. Because he has no other intentions, he has no other needs, doesn't have any other demands or desires to fulfill. So everything gets converted into sadhana. And in that state, Sri Ramakrishna says, he sees divine. If a person is coming, asking for something, he is seeing God coming and asking as if. He is seeing, his eyes are penetrating into reality because he is thinking of real. In this context, we see Sri Ramakrishna telling that thinking of God or thinking of consciousness, man doesn't become unconscious. The doubt appears in the M's mind, the flame which he sees everywhere is not actual flame. Otherwise it would have burnt all things. The flame was burning, one is seeing is imaginary. It is a reflection of the thinking. It is not real flame. To that Sri Ramakrishna says, thinking of consciousness, the person doesn't become unconscious. Here, when a man's awareness is filled with God, intense seeking is God, every act of his, every thought of his, and every feeling of his is getting converted into sadhana. At that stage, he is as if living in reality. We are, in the moment we wake up and identify with the body, physical body, we enter into a world of unreal. It looks as if real and continuing, but it is just a passing shows, just like something happening on the screen of a television, which appears to be real, which appears to be actual, but how do we know? When we enter into sleep. The moment we enter into sleep, we see the whole world has disappeared, my bodily existence has disappeared, my relationships, my property, my relatives, my family, everything has disappeared. And I have been in a different dimension altogether with an identity which is unrelated to the waking state. The waking state has nothing to do with my existence now when I am in dream state or in deep sleep. Jagrat is totally disconnected, and I have a new identity. I am a new person, unrelated to waking state. This is an important statement I am telling. Unrelated to waking state. Waking state, till sleep, I was one person with so many things. My family, this, that, and all. Everything has disappeared. And I am entirely different. I have no connection or no awareness of its existence. There is a waking state, I have to go back, I have left everything and come into dream state, is not there. What happened to you? What happened to your property? What happened to your things? Nothing is there. How much unreal is shown here that you are not at all, never related to it. When you go to deep sleep, even dream state, that is your subtle body and subtle existence also disappears. Imagine who you are, how you are, where is the reality? And unless nature brings you back to the waking state and makes you identify with the physical body, you are not there at all. So this appears to be real as long as we are in that state. Dream appears to be real as long as we are in dream state. Deep sleep appears to be real as long as we are in. But all these are passing events. The reality is something else, which is when you are thinking of God, it is unchanging reality. These are all changing, passing events that are not going to stay, like flowing water and ripples on it. The waves and ripples on water appears there, and once it disappears, you will not find anywhere any type of its existence. It totally disappears. Writing on water, it looks like writing, it disappears. Like this, the whole universe and all things that is happening in waking, dreaming and deep sleep, gross, subtle and causal, are just passing. And reality is there, which is appearing as a passing event. The reality which is substance of all this entire universe, you are thinking. And reality, when you think, the reality, the unreal is eliminated always. Reality, when your mind is fixed on real, when we see a fire and look elsewhere, we see the fire is superimposition. I am superimposing the fire. The eye that has seen is superimposing that fire on the matter. Because this fire belongs to the physical world. Is giving an example. But in reality, when you think of God, when you see God again in every object, it is elimination it is not superimposition, it is desuperimposition. It is removal of the ignorance with which you are identified. Because of your identification with the physical body, you are seeing this world. What would be the waking state when you are not identified with the body? When you are identified with the body, this looks like this, and my family, my property, my everything is there, and this world looks like this. Suppose you witness the same world unidentified with the physical body, and you are aware of this, it is revealing yourself. How it would be? It is real. It is God. God is appearing like world when you are identified with this physical body. So here we see it is not superimposition of the unreal, but it is elimination of the unreal to reveal the reality. When you contemplate on God, when your awareness is filled with God, your heart is seeking God and God alone, and nothing satisfies you in this world, then you see that wherever you see the God's presence, which cannot be understood by any other person. Any other being cannot understand. What you are seeing there, you are seeing the real in place of the unreal. All are seeing unreal. This is what Sri Ramakrishna says, thinking of the consciousness, Chaitanya, seeing of the Chaitanya dhyan kore or Chaitanya hoina, thinking of whatever you think of, that you become. Je jar dhyan kore, shetar shatta pai. And you are thinking of God, you are attaining the truth, reality. It is real. You are thinking of a real thing. If you think of the unreal, you would have seen unreal everywhere. It is reality. When you think of reality, your awareness is filled with reality. The unreality of the world is eliminated, and the real shines forth. This is the God you see everywhere after realization. When you come from Samadhi Sthiti to the Vyuthana, what you see is the layer of ignorance that was covering your mind, and the world was looking as world. Its ignorance is removed. The covering on the veil that is put on your awareness is removed, and the real is revealing itself. You are seeing God everywhere, the divine everywhere in every object. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is referring to here. Thinking of Him who is all spirit, all consciousness, one does not lose consciousness. Continue, Sri Ramakrishna says, Shivnath once remarked that too much thinking about God confounds the brain. Thereupon I said to him, how can one become unconscious by thinking of consciousness? Sri Ramakrishna is very clear here. Once Shivnath told that thinking too much of God, one loses the brain. Thereupon Sri Ramakrishna said, how can one become unconscious by thinking of consciousness? Yes, sir, I realized that. See how Sri Ramakrishna is taking the soul. This is what happens to us also. As we get immersed in Sri Ramakrishna and we observe, grasp, comprehend what Sri Ramakrishna is telling with single-minded attention, we grasp what is he telling. we slowly move towards the realization. M says, yes sir, I realize that. I realize that means by thinking of God, one does not lose his brain. He becomes slowly, he is evolving towards the realization. There is spiritual unfoldment. Yes, sir, I realize that. It is not like thinking of an unreal object. It is not like thinking of an unreal object. Unreal object when we think, which is not there, which is not going to be there in past, present or future, is unreal. It appears to be real, it appears to be there, like what is you see every day on the screen of the TV screen. It appears to be real, but it is not, it is unreal. Thinking of that, it is not like thinking of unreal object. How can a man lose his intelligence if he always fixes his mind on him, whose very nature is eternal intelligence, I capital intelligence, that is cosmic intelligence. How can a man lose his intelligence, buddhi? How can a person lose his buddhi, mati, if he always fixes his mind on him whose very nature is eternal intelligence? An important statement M is making here. The cosmic intelligence which descends from the absolute and creates the whole universe in the perfect form, as it was in the past closing of chapter of the universe, when the universe was dissolving in the last cycle. What was the state? The same thing as it is to be projected again. And the whole operation, the cosmic intelligence is managing reconstruction, the entire thing to come up. And thinking of this intelligence means from the beginning, from the seed form, from the previous cycle's end, he must draw everything is real. The universe of illusion for the jiva is real for the cosmic intelligence. He is making that delusion. What you see on the screen may be unreal to you, but who has designed the softwares to present that at this station, the whole thing recording, it's broadcasting, catching here in the TV and showing in the screen, whole designing is real. What is done, the entire thing is real. From the projection of the unreal is real. It's really being projected. Unreality is being projected. The whole thing is a plan of the intelligence. So is the cosmic intelligence from the previous records to manifest this universe. The whole thing is. I am thinking of that one who has created this universe, one who is sustaining it, pervading it, and in whom it is going to re-enter. Thinking of him, can anybody, means it is through and through real. Except reality, nothing is there. That I am thinking, and can this make our buddhi or mati being lost? This is the understanding M is presenting to Sri Ramakrishna. After Sri Ramakrishna told, in his mind he has thought over all aspects and come to the conclusion. It is now his conviction, firm conviction has risen. Means all doubts have gone and the reality shining in his mind. Yes, this is true what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Master with pleasure. Master is very happy. It is through God's grace that you understand that. See, we can't, what scripture says, what the realized soul says, what an incarnation says, to understand that, to understand, comprehend it, and to form a conviction in our heart, it needs God's grace. Without God's grace, we cannot achieve that. Sri Ramakrishna is telling it is through God's grace that you understand that the doubts of the mind will not disappear without His grace. The doubts, subtle, gross level, subtle level, causal level, doubts continue. To have unbroken faith, to have the faith that will, any test will withstand that faith. A lot of pain, suffering, situations dead against what you expect to happen are happening. Your faith is not shaken. That faith, to have that faith, all doubts have cleared, and to have that faith, one needs God's grace. Doubts of the mind will not disappear without His grace. Doubts do not disappear without self-realization. Without self-realization. Last, Sri Ramakrishna says, all doubts, nirbija sthiti. Now, absence of doubts is different from the root of the doubts never to come again, never to present. All doubts getting cleared once for all. Now, each time I may clear all doubts, and again, sometime there may be some new doubts coming up. Even those doubts are cleared. Now it is like I am charging a mobile telephone. Once I put for charging, the whole get fully charged. There is no lack of electricity. There is no lack of power. But when I see after some time that the entire thing, after using for some time, it is decreasing. I have to charge it again. It is not like that. Doubt has gone once and doubt is going to reappear. It is not that. Doubts go forever. It gets totally erased forever when the self-knowledge comes. Self-realization. Here when she doubts, the doubts of the mind will not disappear without His grace. Doubts do not disappear without self-realization. When we say self-realization, God's grace, the doubt that stand in the way of self-realization go away. In the way I realize God, all the doubts that stand go away. With self-realization, with God realization, the doubts that can arise in the future, the doubts that can make, why still delay? I have done everything, all sadhana, I am doing, still why delay? This doubt also, all this will be removed with the self-realization. But one need not fear anything if one has received the grace of God. If one need not fear anything if one has received the grace of God. See how this important thing, fear, we may not have doubts, but so many kinds of fear, varieties of fear we are possessed with, of losing something, of fall, of death, ultimately so many varieties of doubts we may get. And these doubts that we gain is a different type, the fears, varieties of fears possess us time and again, possess us with various things. And one need not fear anything if one has received the grace of God. Of losing job, of losing status, of losing health, and all this. The grace of God will remove all these doubts. And nowadays, many people create fear and doubts. We went in US to one person's house where there was some puja going on, and they are terribly afraid. If I am not able to do the puja next year, something may happen to me. I have started this, I have been able to do the second year. What calamity will fall on me if I am not able to do next year? My uncle or somebody, relative, he stopped and there was a great loss. He lost the business, he lost his child. All these things, they create false fears and false doubts which are affecting the individual. So we should not, the trust in God, the faith in God, the dedication to God, nothing will happen to me. I have taken refuge in eternal existence. I have taken a refuge in such a reality, such a thing which is source of all this, in which all things are going to merge back. That is where I have taken refuge. And that faith must create inner security. I have external security, I have wealth, I have strength, I have got still capacity to work, I have got the police people. So many external securities are all fail. Just a health fails, you will see that all external securities are failing. Money will not help, people will not help, police people will not help, your status and power which you had will not help. Nothing will help if your bodily health declines. So this way you see, all this in inner security is the presence of God, who can do and undo anything, and whatever He does, giving pain or suffering or joys or elevation, whatever comes from God has a cause behind, a purpose to fulfill, and the path to move and realize. It is a constant, unbroken security for eternal, because it is going to take you back to the source, from back to your home. Now you are in a foreign land without any support and bodily existence identified. You are going back. When you think of God, when you pray to God, when you offer yourself to God, you have acquired a security which is going to save you from all problems of the life. However much strain you may have to face, or the pain you may have to face in the process of having this faith and devotion and the dedication, but it will lead you to attain that eternal security here and to reach the home safely back. This is what it is. Rather easy for a child to stumble if he holds the father's hand, but there can be no such fear if father holds a child's hand. We are trying to hold to God. Now we are in faith, in trust, in total dedication. I offer myself to be held by God. I am struggling to hold God through japa, through meditation, to puja, and all. I am trying to hold on to God. But in surrender, in giving myself to God, I want God to hold my hand. This is when God holds my offering is complete. I don't possess anything in this world. I do all duties where He has kept me as an offering at His feet with the only purpose of fulfilling Him. Then it is He who is holding my hand. And this is the total security. He is holding my hand. So, this we see, a man does not have to suffer anymore if God, in His grace, removes his doubts and reveals Himself to him. When God reveals Himself, or God, not that I am going to cling to this body. How just like I become immortal by knowing God, is not the immortality of the body. Body is going to die. I am going to get a new identity. I am identified with the body and undergoing all the pains and sufferings that body is receiving, all the joys and sufferings of life, and whatever happening to the body, I am taking upon myself by holding on to. When I know my existence independent of body, by knowing God, by knowing self, I am free from that illusion, from that delusion. I know, I understand, I realize I am immortal. I realize that I am immortal. Immortality is realized. Like that, a man does not have to suffer anymore. Not that bodily suffering, old age may continue, but he is totally independent of it. Just like when you are asleep, you will not know any amount of pain, you will not know you have become old. Everything disappears. Like that waking state, all things disappear. You are in the ocean of bliss. You are in the eternal freedom of your existence. His grace, in His grace, removes his doubts and reveals Himself to him. When the doubts go, you are able to hold on. It will be able to reveal yourself. Om Niranjanam Nityamananta Rupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha.